what can I say? After all this time, you're overstable, you're reliable, you go exactly where I want you to. It's just like such a trusted connection we have. Man, you come in premium plastic, which is why I'm excited to have you in the bag, Zone. Good to have you after all this time. Before we dive in, gotta ask the most important question of the day. To my niece that just had her birthday, how you doing today, Eliza? Are you having a good day?
So catch me if I fall.
Oh, how I have not looked forward to this day. And let me tell you, at the time, zones just go far, even when you're standing here. At the time that I'm shooting this video, Swanky Disc Golf actually dropped a video on their channel titled Why the Pig is Better Than the Zone. And it's so fascinating that that video came out this week when I have made the official decision for my overstable putt and approach slot, that really overstable slot that I'm not bagging pig for at least a little bit of time, and I've opted to throw the zone in my bag. And we have to explain that decision and we have to walk through it. And so I'm gonna do a little zone versus pig battle while walking through my thought process of how I landed on the zone, how I got used to it, what does it mean? Because let's be honest, I'll go ahead and address what the comments are saying. This man literally has a pig tattoo. Talk about regret. How are you gonna move into that? I'm not forever moving away from the pig, but it's certainly going in timeout. And there's only one company to blame for it. Now we're here in the butcher block battles, and normally in the butcher block battles, I throw just a stock pig against another pig. And so we have the battle. In fact, we've actually filmed a battle with this is the Zone GT with the ringer top that didn't get PDJ approved because the internet decided, let's vote for the banger top. And then I would really love to know in the comments how many people voted for the banger top and actually used the banger top instead of just making this become like a reality that's widely available. But that's fine, it's whatever. It's still PDGA approved, which I think Discraft did the right thing. But I have a Haley King pig, which is my favorite run of pigs in the recent future. These are the Haley King Glow pigs, super sick. Obviously comparing that, but we didn't want to just take it that much further because in that Swanky video, they talk about how a pig can beat in to have a multitude of flights, which is what Precious Child has been for the longest time. It doesn't fly anything remotely like a pig anymore. It highs or flips, it stands up, it can do so much. And so I found this Jawbreaker Zone, which some people said in the comments, they were like, a Jawbreaker Zone does the exact same thing. And so this thing it's seen some things. So I have a Precious Child equivalent and I have an overstable equivalent. So let's see what we got here. Hole 1, 218 feet. We're gonna let the pig have the box first. You hang it nice and wide and see what you got. It's a little short. It's a lot short. I don't know what it is about driving to this course, but my back like hates me for the first 3 holes. More reliably overstable. It's so fun. Let's just go ahead and throw these so you have reference points. Precious Child. You can see stands up immediately, flies super straight, and then beat in zone. Same thing. Oh, we got a battle. So let's address the elephant in the room, which is, what do I talk about? Why do I feel that Innova is to blame? That got real sneaky, didn't it? Well, to me, it's just a fun game of, let's go to Innova's social media posts. I can't remember the last time that I was checking an Innova post that there weren't comments where they released a new Halo sort of mold or something, and the comments weren't riddled with, or at least had one person saying, Halo pigs, when? Because I know when I scroll back through the comments, I see things such as comments of like, when's the Halo XD come out? When does the Halo Skeeter come out? Those comments don't exist. And what does Innova release? Oh, hey, here's a Halo XD. Oh, hey, here's a Halo Skeeter. The complaint to Innova has been that they just have the market share. They do whatever they want, and people say, thank you, sir. May I have another? Based on the zone that I ended up throwing, it's such an interesting counterpoint of, hey, you guys didn't ask for it, but we're gonna create this Ringer GT top and the Banger GT top. But we're gonna let you guys have the onus in seeing which one you want. And with the Banger top, the Banger is probably the only one that's succeeded there. They have the Buzz GT with the Banger top. I don't know anyone that bags the Buzz GT, even though I personally think it's a phenomenal disc, and I have one in my collection, and if I do like a Discraft only battle, that is one of the first discs that goes in my bag. All right, here we go. Oh, let's take a bird. Let's keep going with the pig. hit and sit. Pig be doing pig things. Just gets out there, nice and reliable. Zone. Same thing, same place. But even though Discraft opened the options, and they could have just been like, we voted, and you know what, we actually are just gonna release them both. They let the people decide, they listened to the people's votes, they had an entire event around listening to the people, and they released a mold that the people voted on and wanted. Seems like pretty simple marketing to me. Now I know from previous experiences that when it comes to me and talking with Innova, they kind of run in the pretty much opposite direction of what I'm asking for, even though trying to help. That's tough. Even though I'm trying to help grow their brand, grow their opportunity, grow access for them to have connections to beginners. At least that's kind of what we agreed upon. Every post though has people commenting for the Halo Pig, has people looking for the Halo Pig, and they would continue to release the Halo Pig. But I understand, hey, don't listen to the people that buy the disc. Don't do that. Let's listen to the pros, because the pros matter. But having had a conversation with this person, they've also asked for Halo Star Pigs. So I was even told by Innova once, hey, when Ricky was on the bag, Ricky actually requested that he didn't have premium plastic pigs because he wanted the tack, he wanted the grip. And that's fair. But Ricky's with DD now. And the person whose name is on this disc has said, I would love a Halo Star Pig. So where are we at? Now, as this video has already demonstrated, I have a multitude of reasons to be personally bitter, but you know what? That's fine. We in content creation world have had the opportunity to help push and grow molds. I think of myself with the pig, and I think of Joseph from another round with the Rolo. I would say that we are two people who are actively pushing a mold for Innova in a way that not even their pros are pushing it. There's not like monetary compensation coming back the other way. I'm not bitter about that at all. That's fine. I have made that decision, and I'm willing to push the pig because I think the pig is an absolutely phenomenal disc that does so much. And I would say that I love it, even having thrown the zone for the last couple of weeks. I love them comparably. I think that they accomplish similar things. I do think the zone is more overstable, that's for sure. Off, and there we go. We skid right up. We're gonna have to give the zone a little more. But here's where it becomes difficult, because while the pig seasons in to do beautiful things, when we're trying to put the pig in its pig slot, which is that overstable putt and approach disc, I have a hard time recommending a disc to you as a beginner or as a newer player, as someone growing your collection, when I know that if you put a brand new R Pro pig in your bag, and that's a pro, like that's a Glow Proto, so it's even more durable, but it's also more expensive. It's really tough knowing that if you rely on that disc as you could and should, it's not gonna fly that way for you for very long. Now, all discs season in and fly differently over time. I'm not gonna deny that in the slightest. I'm just thinking for a disc that is your overstable putt and approach disc, it can create some issues with you really finding confidence in the mold. I struggled with this hole. When I had the tournament out here, I think there's a very real chance that I did not birdie it once. Really couldn't get this like distance dialed in terms of actually putting it close to the basket. I always just assumed that it was way closer than it actually was. But if you're putting a new pig in your bag and you know that after 3 rounds, 4 rounds, 10, 15 rounds, I mean, for me, when they released the Halo Nexus pigs, it legitimately was 3 rounds that suddenly my card mates were audibly remarking how straight that pig was flying. 3 rounds with that disc in the bag. But you know what? I said something about marketing earlier, and maybe that's where I'm just not the marketing genius, because maybe the marketing play is we want you to fall in love with this mold that feels so good for forehands. It feels fantastic for backhand. Like, it just feels incredible. And we know we have our hooks in you for that mold. And if you want that consistent flight every month, month and a half, you're gonna have to buy another one. So now, instead of spending $25 on a premium plastic one that's gonna last you, I don't know, like 5, 6, a year. I mean, there are people that have premium plastic zones that they've had that same zone in their bag for like 2 years. Y'all let me know, for zone lovers out there, how long has your zone, your premium zone, been overstable and flying in that slot? And maybe that's Innova's genius like marketing move is, we're just gonna sell you $16 pigs, R Pro pigs, and you've got to buy so many of them. I have over 60 pigs in my collection, and it makes me sad because probably 20 of them don't fly like pigs anymore. They're just super straight, and they're not overstable. Get up. That's perfect. If it just gets like a little skip off of the sidewalk, it's money. I realized the other day I was playing around and I was like really missing distance. I got to like hole 14 and I realized I wasn't waiting in the shot for everything to hit and then send the hand. I was kind of sending it all forward at the same time. I think a lot of us are impatient on the backhand. It just gets tough for me to want to recommend a disc that I know I'm causing you to fall in love with the same heartbreak and turmoil that I have of constantly having to replace them. That's been our plight and our struggle as pig lovers and pig farmers for years, for actual years. We've been talking, we've been commenting on social media, we've been giving Innova the feedback and they just ignore it. That's fine. But what did me in wasn't, hey, the slap in the face of, we've given you Halo pigs. You guys asked for Halo, so we gave you Halo-based plastic, because they've done Halo-based plastic for so many molds. It was the release of Halo Champion rhinos. Because the biggest pushback that we've gotten is that it is difficult to get the Halo pig made in production for this. So they released Calvin Heimberg signature Halo Champion rhinos because they have Calvin Heimberg signature Halo Star Toros. And I got to feel these Halo Champion rhinos at Worlds. Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with the rhino in comparison to the pig, the rhino and the pig are very similar. The difference between them, most prominently, is that the rhino actually has a bead on the bottom of it, which is an additional sort of layer of plastic. So it's interesting to me that I'm told that the pig can't be made in premium plastic because dealing with the overmold and the excess here is really hard to inject premium plastic. And I get that. Having had conversations with Jesse, this, just a disc in general, breaks injection molding principles, which is you never go thin to thick. You always go thick to thin so that it's thin on the outside. So if I take this, which is already thin in the middle to thick on the edges, and then I add even more with the thumb plate, I would believe that. Like, I taken dose after 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 dose and believing. Even though I knew premium rhinos exist, but maybe how they're doing the Halo swirls and all that, it just is not possible. Because the rhino is the pig with even more plastic. Even more thickness, you could argue, on the edge. Here we are. I walked over to that Innova tent and I was hoping they had them, and I will show my weakness and my character flaw here. I wanted them to be so bad. I wanted them to feel awful so that at least I could have like the extra dose of copium of like, well, maybe I don't want a premium plastic pig in Halo Champion or Halo Star because it's gonna feel bad. I was wrong. They felt so good. They felt so incredible. Oh, it just made me so sad. So I literally walked back to the tent and I said, Hunter, Trevor, Brad, Jason, Connor, Silas, I think I'm walking away from the pig for a little while. I'm gonna put it in timeout as my foot in the ground saying I'm not gonna push pigs while the company openly backhands me. Not even slap, this is friendly. This is me, you know, doing my thing. It's this way, it's this way. It's backhanding me over and over again for trying to help them sell their mold. And they're just like, nah, we're good. Nah, we're good, because people just keep buying. So we're trying something else until Innova decides to release Halo Star or Halo Champion. I'll take either. A premium Halo pig. And that's where we found the Zone GT. Perfect. Oh, it hit the wire. It hit that telephone wire. Oh, that's tough. I've played this hole so many times. I literally didn't even connect the dot that wire actually runs across here. I thought they were just in the back right there, because it doesn't extend off on that pole. Let's talk about what issues I had with the Zone originally. So the pig is notably deeper. The pig is notably deeper than the Zone. So this is me. You can see the extra like layer of plastic up there. I have very little space on the backside. So when I was throwing forehand pig shots, I liked that I could throw it and really yam into this thing and know that it's gonna be overstable enough to keep fighting, but also that I'm not gonna lose it behind me. I'm a little juiced. I'm not gonna lose it when I'm back here because it's slipping off of my finger in the hit back here, especially in forehands. Backhands, didn't feel it so much, but in forehands especially, I felt that like slip off. So then I started trying out the Toro for a little bit, and the Halo Star Toro was super overstable, and I kept losing it back here. And I was like, I guess I can't be that guy. I guess I can't be that guy. Tried a little bit of the zone, couldn't be that guy, until I discovered part of why I think I gripped the disc, I liked the depth, is from forehanding ultimate lids, where it's a deeper lid, and that's where I learned how to flick. And so because of that, I didn't have that deep of a grip, because if you went super deep grip on like an ultimate lid, it was gonna get caught in your hand because it's so deep. If I had a shallow grip and I was doing a shallow grip on a shallow disc, I actually had my knuckle outside of the rim, and so I was losing it, of course, because there was no tension being created. So I thought, what if I just get a little more in on the disc, get a little more deep, and get that knuckle under the rim and really jam it back there. And the results were phenomenal. The zone is at 4 under, that's tough. So what's another perk of the zone? If you want to throw pigs, you really have like 4 plastic options available, which I know I say that as I'm holding a Test Flight Z Ringer GT top zone. This is a rare one. And I'm gonna be honest, we really wanted to reach out to Discraft to get like a pig killer stamp or something like that. But unfortunately they don't have any available, but they did already. So they have this run, and they actually released other zone Ringer top GTs at Worlds. They were available there. This limited run has already seen a second production run, and it's been around way less time than the pig. In fact, I'm pretty confident, I've talked about this before, I'm pretty sure the pig was actually PDGA approved before the zone. I love how overstable the zone is. It is everything that you want. Like, I threw those comparable levels of yeet, and you saw how much straighter the pig holds. So I understand when Hunter and Trevor are throwing pigs on the channel and they're like, why is this thing so straight? So if you don't love the beefiness of a zone, a pig is a nice alternative. I'll be the first to say that. Like, it's not as overstable. I can throw flex line shots with that zone that I just can't with the pig. So I really do love the variety of plastics, and I love the variety of plastics and everything that the zone comes in, because you really can kind of pick a zone that works for you. You can pick, if you want the top of the banger, you can have the banger top. You can have a Z, you can have a jawbreaker, you can have a crystal flex, you can have a crystal, you can have a titanium zone, you can have an ESP zone. So many shot opportunities, so that, like, if you wanted to mold minimalize, you could mold minimalize off the shelf, because they're going to have different flight characteristics off the shelf, which is crazy in terms of, instead of having to buy 3R Pro pigs and know they're all going to fly the same for a little bit, this one's going to fly a little straighter after a month and a half, and then if I keep playing with that one for a month and a half, it'll be really, really straight, and then I can start cycling and doing it that way. So it's fascinating how much easier and developed having so many plastics are. It just makes falling in love with the zone very simple. Okay, so here I really want to highlight the difference between these two shots, because it's a weakness of the pig and the R Pro or the Pro, is that it really, once you put it on anhyzer, unless you throw it super soft, once it gets on Annie, it doesn't burn over, but it kind of stays in that Annie and then may fight out at the very end, even if you throw it nose up. So for this shot, I have to throw it to the right of that green tree sign and then carry up to the right where the basket is. So on the pig, you have to take a sort of direct route. And by direct route, I mean it just held super straight. I can actually afford to flex the zone just a little bit and have it still, hopefully, fight out its way up there. That's very useful. That's very useful on these short tentacle shots. It's also why Sullivan Tipton, who I caddied for at Worlds, he'll tell you one of the reasons he's able to throw in so much is because he can actually throw sort of like floater flexes, so they're coming in flat to the basket, which gives him a greater chance of running and like ringing it up without running super far past the basket. So Precious Child, are pigs coming out of the bag entirely? Like, what's the fate of Precious Child when it comes to the exodus of the pig in the overstable slot? I would go ahead and tell you, Personally, I don't think Precious Child's in trouble. When it comes to subconscious confidence, which is what you get when you mold minimalize, because your hand's like, oh, I'm used to throwing this. My hand is always going to be used to throwing a pig. It's why if I'm like doing a video with folks, I could just ask, hey, let me borrow your pig. It's going to take me 1 or 2 throws and I'm going to know exactly how that pig flies, because I have a complete familiarity with the pig mold. I don't know that I'm going to find jawbreaker zones that fly still like normal zones that are more beaten in than this. I mean, this thing is literally warped that bad. And it still has some like decent overstability to it, which is not what Precious Child is. Precious Child has stand-up, has flipping capability, and it's never gonna burn over, but it's definitely not like crazy understable either. It's understable for a pig. So like here, I've been trusting the forehand when I've been playing this hole like in tournaments and everything, but for the video, it always has to be a backhand. Just have to avoid that tree. So I'm actually gonna try to turn these a little bit so you can see, hopefully, if I can keep the nose down, how these lean into the anhyzer. Okay, so super nose up. But you can see I tried to start that on the anhyzer and I threw it downhill so it had a chance to fade out, but like, that's kind of impressive. And that's why Precious Child isn't coming out of the back, because for those of you who are unfamiliar, the basket is right next to the pick. And that's where that zone stability really shines once again, because it's like a short little gap that I can just throw a nice little easy flexor through. Y'all, if you've ever played Shadow Lake, that's technically hole 3 to the course. I know it comes in as hole 8 in our video, but like this might be one of the most filthy shots that I've ever thrown with Precious Child in general, much less thrown on camera. Most of you probably clicked off this video because you were like, wow, Robbie's like whining and complaining and all that. I'm passionate about this, guys. I really am passionate. I don't think it's a mistake to get the pig tattooed on my body. I really don't. The pig mold itself has connected me to so many things in disc golf and created so many cool opportunities. Pig is love, pig is life, and I'll stand by that. Precious Child staying in the bag. Honestly, straight pig is also in the bag still. Now, like I said earlier in the video, I have like 20 straight pigs. So I like the reliability of that mold, and I'm fine with it. This isn't me putting Innova on a timer, because we already know Innova doesn't listen. So if one day they want to actually, you know, go back to making premium pigs, making them widely available, that'd be sick. Maybe one day we'll get them, but maybe this fight actually helps for you other pig farmers out there get what we want and deserve. Well, this hole looks wildly different with that construction happening over there. I kind of like that you have access to that mountain now. That's kind of sick. Pig's got to make up a stroke here. Let's see what we got. I pulled that. It's going to be down the hill. It's going to be a long putt if it sits. And like a nail in the coffin, as our final goodbye. And the zone's in the circle. We've rolled out like right here. Gas pedal, gas pedal. So it's gonna wrap it up for today's video. I am positive that I am excited for this new adventure, and I am excited to see what becomes of it. I hope that happiness awaits people on the other side. Major construction there, so I'm gonna say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day and that you feel loved and listened to. I see you, pig farmers, because pig is love, pig is life. But have a great day. Make it fantastic for someone else too. But for now, we're gonna leave you with the piggy. Oink oink, Innova. Ball's in your court.